Hey guys, this is Ben. I Need Peeling doing a VOD review for the Overwatch coach. Let's get right into it. First of all, I love this. This gets a big plus right up front, um, especially this part. I think especially a lot of newer players forget to hit tab from time to time, and yeah, so being clear about what you expect from your students, making it easy, making it obvious. I like that. Let's go.
We're on episode 6 of the Overwatch Coach. Today we have a gold level player, 2400 I believe it was, and he's flexing. So we've got, if I remember correctly, it's Lucio, Tracer, Winston, and Ana. All in one game, so a lot of flexing going on in this one. We haven't really had a lot of flexing in any of our previous episodes, so it will be interesting to see how this all plays out. Before we get into the video, if anybody watches this and wants to submit anything, please submit it to the email address shown. Make sure it's 480p or higher. No music playing in the background. You can have a webcam. If you have a Twitch channel, feel free to send me the link to that, and we'll do a coaching video for you. Season 6, I believe, starts tomorrow, so looking forward to that. I'm gonna try to get out as many of these videos as I can during the off season to help you guys get ready for season 5. I can't believe we're already on season 5. That's crazy to me. All right, without further ado, let's get started with the video.
So for students, all that is fine. For YouTube, I feel like let's cut a little bit of content from that. Instead of a minute 6, let's make it 35 seconds, maybe 45 seconds.
And let's see what we got here.
I like this name, Rainbow Dash. Pistachio tea, these are good. We're off to a good start.
So we're starting on the Lucio.
All right, let's get into it.
I don't mind Lucio on Nepal. I think he's actually pretty good. I actually don't mind Lucio on most maps, especially after the changes that happened to a Lucio. So, depending on what side of the map we're starting on, I'm going to be looking for you to speed boost your team to the high ground.
This is great. This is great. I love this. Already starting off with some thoughts on overall strategy. I'm going to see if you talk about the team comp at all.
Whether that's left or right, I can't really tell from where we are in position to the spawn, but I think you guys know what I mean. If not, I'll be pointing it out.
One thing for VOD review students, if any players who are frequently reviewed are on this, it will make it easier for your coach if you'll look out of spawn to, especially on King of the Hill, so they know which side you're on.
If you don't go there, and if you do go there, I'll be applauding you. So let's see what we get here.
Okay, so high ground is going to be on the right. One way you can know for any students out there is that on Nepal Sanctum, which is what this map is, the open area, the sky and so forth is, oh no, wait, sorry. The open area is toward the high ground. So the point is going to be down here. But you can always know, go toward the sky if you want to take the high ground on Nepal Sanctum.
Alright, you gotta be careful. You're losing some of your teammates already in your speed boosting.
Good feedback.
You kind of slowed up, let them catch up again. Okay, so you guys are going the wrong way. Should have been left. The high ground is where your relation to your spawn is on the left. Okay, let's stop right here. Okay, so
Yeah. Yeah.
So, first of all, you went to the right when you should have went left. This is the high ground I was talking about. That's the high ground you want to try to control every time you play this map. If you're Lucio, it's your job to get your team over there. Now, why...
You may want to say something about action on comms, because if in gold, at high gold, you may be able to trust your team to go where you go. Any lower than that, and you may go left, and they may all go right. So just things to consider.
Are the healers? They're still on the right side, and you've got 1, 2, 3 DPSs. Now I don't know why we're running Symmetra. I
Me neither.
didn't get to see the team composition, so I'm not really sure exactly what we're running. I wasn't paying that close attention.
So just for the record, the team comp, okay, we're at the 3-minute mark right now. The team comp was do 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 do. Lucio, Hanzo. I know we have a
I don't mind
Mercy.
Lucio on Nepal. I think he's actually pretty good.
Fair,
I actually don't mind Lucio on Mo.
Torb. Okay, so maybe the Torb goes Symmetra. If not, we have a Torb and a Symmetra, in which case they're in pretty big trouble already.
Attention to that, but I don't know why we're running a Symmetra. Out of the series of maps Nepal gives you, this is the worst map for a Symmetra. So I don't know why we're running that. I would have been on the microphone begging and pleading them to switch. The other maps, you can make a case that she has a place there. But on this map, no. So that's already putting you guys at a disadvantage. But why are the supports completely away from everybody else? And now you're already down 2 guys. Now it doesn't help that your team comp isn't the greatest, because we also have a Hanzo, which in this level of gameplay I would be very very nervous with. So yeah, the positioning here, you guys should have, first of all, all the healers are by themselves, and the rest of the team is dying where they should be, but they need the supports, i.e. you and the Mercy, to be over there.
So at this point, there's a lot going wrong in this game already, and you've correctly pointed out a lot of it. I would find something, if you can, I would really look for something soon to be positive about. Our player may be a little bit discouraged at this point in the VOD review. A lot of bad stuff is happening. They've made a reasonably significant positioning mistake, and their comp is not great. That's not really their problem. Lucio's a great pick on King of the Hill, but yeah, so this isn't a mistake, but I would definitely be, at this point in this VOD review, I would be keeping a weather eye for opportunities to praise in a very vocal way.
I'm actually a little surprised that Mercy didn't try to fly over there, although at this point it's probably better she didn't. At this point I'd be looking for you guys just to pull out and retreat and live to fight another day, and I'd be telling that Farah to get back too.
Yeah, they need to get out.
Okay, that's good. They're telling the Farah to get back. I don't get picked by this Roadhog. Alright, you're gotta be really careful here. I'm gonna rewind just a little bit. Okay, right here. You're in a really dangerous spot right here. Okay, first of all, they're telling the Symmetra to get off Symmetra, that's good, although it'd be better if they were doing it on a microphone, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I would I think it is neither here nor there for this particular game, but I would emphasize to the player that this is the right idea and totally the wrong format. The way to actually get the person to switch and not get them tilted, not get everybody throwing, is to say kindly in voice, and this is a very fine art, and a lot of people can't do it, but in as much as your player can learn how to do it, you want them to be asking nicely, "Hey, Symmetra, is there any chance you could play soldier? Or if you want to play healer, I can go DPS. There's or another tank. I'm not sure if Roadhog is. I guess Roadhog is solo tanking. I know there was at least one switch because they didn't have a Torb on the on the select screen, but I wasn't really tracking the kill feed. So anyway, I wouldn't do it this way. Anyway.
Right here, though, you're in a really dangerous place. So we've got Roadhog over here, and Winston's going to be somewhere over here. If you get picked right here, that's either going to do one of two things. Well, it's going to do both, but it's going to. There's two things I want to point out here. One, it's going to put your team at a major disadvantage because they're down to support, and then they're also going to be down 5 or 6. And then on top of that, the Pharah that you guys told to get back didn't get back in time, and the Winston somehow was the one to get her, means you're already down a guy. So if you go down here, your team's going to have to wait for not only the Pharah to respawn, but for you to respawn. Now, at least you've got the speed boost to get back a little quicker, but it's still going to make them kind of sit around. That's idle time where, you know, the enemy team, their points are ticking up and yours aren't.
So you're right about this. I would argue that they're going to have to wait anyway. You really want to wait for 6. So I would argue they should be back out actually farther away than this Roadhog is, and that they should hang out in a safe spot where nobody can get killed until this one comes back. So even though this is a mistake, I would argue that it's actually less damaging right now than it would be certainly 5 seconds from now. But conceptually, your point is the correct one.
And then on top of that, you're just going to be at a major disadvantage in terms of being down people. But the Pharah kind of already did that, and I didn't catch that until right as I said it. But you managed to get out, which is good, and Lucio's got that escape ability. But you guys shouldn't be pushing yet.
Yeah, totally agree.
You don't have the Pharah.
Yeah, yeah. So, so now I would offer. You've told him what not to do, and I think you're correct. That's the right call. I would tell him what they should be doing, and it's hard to get lower elo heroes not to gather up right here, or worse yet, in here. So I would tell him, you know, as much as you can, pull the team back towards spawn. Make sure that nobody can get picked. Somebody is probably going to push up too far and try to build their ult or get a pick and get picked themselves. But you guys should be farther back. Yeah, and you may be about to say that.
Pharah's still coming back. You could be back there trying to escort her out of spawn to get her back into the fight a little bit quicker.
Yeah, they're again in trouble. Their team did exactly what they shouldn't do, and they're paying the price.
But you're in a really bad spot here.
Yes, yes they are.
Let's pause just for a little bit. Okay, so you go in and you turn around and you see that you're by yourself essentially, because I mean they're kind of looking like they're coming in, and they all start coming back out. They retreat. I want to try to get something here. So right here, you should bolt. That Pharah should be on you, but she's not, which is a good thing. But you're down 3 people right now. And on top of that, the Pharah just got back. So this team is incredibly staggered. And that's something you got to look out for in the gold level games and the lower level, even low plat. I'll see this on my Smurf account. A lot of staggering. You gotta really try to get your team to push together. If you watch any pro teams playing when they're in the tournaments, they're always, if 1 or 2 of them kind of survive a fight, but the rest of their team got wiped, they'll suicide just so that they can come back with the rest of their team and come back as 6. Your team's not doing that. Your team's incredibly staggered, and it's been staggered since the first fight. So I'm not expecting you to get this point, at least until probably the 70, 80, 90% range.
All correct points, all very good points. Now let's turn it into something actionable. And by the way, sometimes you just can't stop gold players from running their behinds in and getting smoked. But what could he do to try to prevent it? This is a problem, but let's turn it into an action item.
So right now
because he may listen to that and say, "You're right, but I don't know what I should do differently next time. I know what not to do, but I don't know what I should actually do."
Now you're chasing the Pharah. The Pharah can't do anything right now because the rest of your team's coming out of the spawn. You should be going back to spawn trying to escort them because right now all you're doing is doing a little bit of damage and you're just feeding the supports.
Yeah, and so our player has made some mistakes himself. He's also a little bit between a rock and a hard place. I mean, the right answer is just let your Farah run in by herself and get killed. If you can talk to her on comms and try to persuade her not to go in by herself, do it. But yeah, this is very bad. So he's he's trying to be a team player. It's misguided, and so we need to tell him. And you said it a second ago. You should be trying to gather your team up close to spawn and get them safely back in so you can have a 6v6. The one very small silver lining to this really dark cloud is Farah did get a pick. So I don't think I think she's going to get killed and he's going to get killed, and they might not get a single cap on this point. But who knows? Maybe they'll do something.
This Pharah should be back too. By the time see now.
Yeah, she got killed. Hanzo also got 2 picks though. I don't know. I mean, now that the team is probably there. Nice work by the Hanzo. I think they might actually be able to cap here. We'll see what happens. It should obviously never happen this way, but maybe they're going to do something here.
Pharah died and the rest of your team's back, so the Sagerings is going to continue.
Hanzo with an unexplainable ult. Did he just get another pick? It looks like he did. Wait, I thought he killed Roadhog a minute ago. Did he get
Sagerings is going to continue.
Gets a kill with Stagger. Maybe he killed somebody else a second ago. Oh, they lost their Mercy.
Now right now you're not doing anything for your team. You're not healing anybody. You're not speed boosting anybody. You're way overextended.
Okay, correct. So tell him what he should be doing instead.
You should be speed
Yeah, and you're about to do it.
Boosting yourself out of there, get yourself healed back up, and get your team together.
I think his team is going to cap this despite the Pharah's misplay and his own misplay.
Okay, that was a good boop.
Good. So it's a pretty pedestrian good boop, but I would make a bigger deal of it just because everything so far in this game has gone wrong, and now finally to see something going right, let's get really excited about it. I'm gonna draw a scary mouth on that guy. I would make a big deal of it. Good boop. That's a great play. How is this team not capped yet?
Symmetra's getting a couple kills, which is good.
Cap?
And you got another boob. So you're up to 2. That's good.
Yeah, make a big deal of it. Your student at this point in the review is very discouraged, or may be very discouraged, and if he's not, he's made some significant mistakes, he or she. But yeah, I would really amp up the energy for that. It will help your student maintain good self-esteem, and also take the criticism more seriously, just because they know this guy's on my side. This guy thinks I can be a good player, or am already a good player, depending on the student. You really want to make clear how much you believe in your students, and amping up the excitement when they do something right, especially when a lot of stuff is going wrong, is a big deal.
For whatever reason, that team didn't seem to care about the Symmetra turrets.
And why did Hanzo choose right then to ult? That's it's an interesting choice. Maybe he's ulting into spawn.
I would have expected those to not survive.
I would love to know where this teleporter was placed, but I don't think we're going to find out.
Winston ulting on point.
Okay, you're amp it up. Let's go back just a little bit.
Ulting on point.
Okay, I think I missed it. Okay, right here. So you amp it up, and this is too early.
He does it to save the Hanzo, I'm assuming.
Now what's good is you've got 4 people in your radius. That part's good. However, no damage has really been done yet. The Mercy's healing the Hanzo, so you don't really have to worry about Hanzo too much. If there wasn't a Mercy here, the amp it up would have been pretty decent. But right now, nobody's really dying. I mean, okay, the Roadhog's already dead. So at this point, nobody's taken any damage yet. So you're not really healing anything right now. If you held on to that for maybe like 2 or 3 seconds more and then did it, then I would probably, I mean, of course, it's going to depend on how the fight goes, but that timing would be a lot better than this because right now you're not really getting anything out of it. I don't know, let's see how this fight goes here.
You may be able to take this opportunity to make a larger point about the timing of Amp It Up. One thing that I would encourage you to do that you did very early on in this game when you talked about I'm going to look for you to speed boost your team to the high ground is you just talked macro. This is your hero. This is the map. This is what you should be looking to do. You could take this opportunity, and by the way, he's also about to pop his ult, so maybe an opportunity to teach some macro theory there as well. Just be on the lookout for whether your other healer is nearby, and if you have someone who's taken some damage, maybe you be prepared to amp slightly differently, because I feel like the player still may not understand how should I think about using this ability.
Winston ulting on point.
Yeah, they're about to get beat up. We'll see how his ult goes.
Ooh, that
Oh, well, okay, maybe not.
this is a good boop on Lucio.
Ooh.
I'm not sure you really needed to do the break it down when you did it either. Let's see here. I'm trying to see, was there anybody low health that was going to benefit from this? Farah? Everybody else is full health.
Yeah, it was a response ult. The other Lucio ulted, and they had 3 enemies in point, so he ulted too.
And with an ulting Winston, if you can... Okay, actually, wait. I'm staring right at the health bar. Mercy. Okay. I didn't catch that the first time. So yeah, that's a good break it down. You saved Mercy.
I think that might have been by accident. I think the other Lucio ulted, so he ulted. Maybe he was watching the Mercy health bar. I think it was more in response to the ulting Winston being, with his healer underneath, being near the Hanzo, already having killed the Roadhog a second ago. So it ends up being good because he saved the Mercy, but he might not have done it for the right reasons. Just a thought. Maybe he was right on point and did exactly the right thing for the right reasons.
At least I think you're going to save Mercy. Okay. Yeah, no, okay. I was gonna say something, but I didn't catch that at first. So that was actually a good break it down. And then the mercy rewards you.
Oh no!
I thought you were about to fall off the edge. Good
I
wall
thought he
ride.
was too. Nice save. I play some Lucio and I probably wouldn't have saved that.
So the mercy rewards you by bringing you back to life. So that worked out.
You could ask your student, did he drop down there on purpose? I don't think he did. I think he dropped down by accident and ended up, saving himself, which is very nicely carried out. If he did that on purpose, that could have been a really smart play to just get himself out of point and out of danger. I don't know all the implications of something like that, but. Oh.
So, alright. Hanzo shouldn't have been there.
I got booped my bear if I killed her with my right click.
That was a complete overextend by the Hanzo, and now that puts you guys at a big disadvantage.
Yeah, they lost their Roadhog too.
Because you're down 2 right now. They should be pushing pretty.
What the hell is this? How does that happen? I'm not super loving the Symmetra on this map to begin with, but the tele choices.
Pretty hardcore, and then they get the teleporter. That should be a shield generator, by the way.
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, okay. Let's go back just a bit here. Okay, right here. 2 things I want to point out. First of all, the Roadhog. He's spun around, so it's going to be hard to headshot him. You could still do it because he's not moving and you're right up on him, but it's going to be difficult. That's a good thing for a Roadhog to do. Whenever he's self-healing, spin around from your enemies, and it'll be hard for them to headshot you. You, on the other hand, should be trying to get those headshots. You shouldn't just settle for, center mass, especially when you're so close, because if you're trying to headshot him and you're landing somewhere in there, even if you're not headshotting them, you're still doing the same amount of damage as you're getting here. But if you can find that little sweet spot and actually hit the head, you're going to do a heck of a lot more damage, and you're going to negate some of that healing. Alright, so that Roadhog kind of wasted his ult. He probably should have held on to that for his next push. And that Pharah really wasted her ult.
It's an old Fiesta. Oh!
What is that, your 3rd boop now, I think?
Yeah, so out of everything that's happening right... Holy crap. I didn't even realize we were here. Yeah, I would really, really jump on like some big positivity about the boops. Holy shnikes, they capped.
Alright, so good then.
Or they took the point.
Come back. Oh, it's over.
Yeah, me too.
We got
So they have a Zarya now instead of Pharah. They still have the Hanzo, still have Symmetra. I think they're still Lucio Mercy. Okay. So I would you may want to take an opportunity to talk about team comp here. This fair is about to switch off. Do they want a shield tank? I mean, this is a little better here, but still not great. This is probably, I would say, better on this map than on Sanctum. Maybe again, still not great. I don't know. I like these. They're fine. But one thing that you can do is take this opportunity to say, okay, this is the comp you have. What are you looking to do? And you did something like this at the very beginning of last game. You could say, this is what you might see from the enemy given what happened last game, what was working for them, what wasn't working for them, who was doing work on their team. I don't know that anyone was necessarily doing a ton of work on their team, but also I'm kind of astonished by this. But anyway, yeah, so between rounds is a good time to talk macro.
We got this.
Ready for duty.
Interesting. You got 2 tanks with some restore, with some sustainability. I'll be interested to see how this goes. I guess it's probably a loss because it's a VOD review, but we'll see.
I think the best advice I've heard from anybody is stay positive no matter what. Like,
Yeah, he's right about that. Tilting is one of the biggest reasons for the majority of my losses. It's very, very rare for me to say my team just straight out got outplayed, but it was usually because somebody got angry and threw the game. He's right.
So I would praise him for taking what is so far the correct approach to tracer positioning on this map.
I'd co-sign on that advice.
Oh yeah, I like this.
Okay, so we
far,
switched
anyway.
to Tracer here.
Ooh, maybe not. Get out of there.
Okay, so you get your health back.
Get out. Get
You
out.
gotta look out though, because they've got a Winston, so you already know you're being countered, and then on top of that, the Pharah can kind of harass you a little bit too.
Yeah, I agree. So maybe something, and I mean that you probably know more about Tracer than I do, but I do play her a fair bit, and at this point, if you have a DPS over on this side, whether it's here or behind where he is right now, and if the Winston is also kind of lurking, over here, one thing that he could do is just go to the other side, because he's got to get to the healers. He's got to get to their back line. The other thing he could do is just turn around and keep going the way that he was going. I wouldn't have necessarily been hanging out on high ground for quite as long as he did, but now that he's down, he could just run back the opposite into the doorway opposite this one and go ahead and jump on the healers, which is what he probably should have been planning to do in the first place. But
You can kind of harass her a bit as well, but
yeah, and Pharah, and the other thing is Pharah's not a priority target for him. So I don't know what he's doing right now. He should be looking for healers. Let's see what happens here.
Turn on our side.
right now they're not too focused on you. Winston's on you though. So good job getting out of there. Don't feed ult or anything like that if you don't have to. And you gotta get back and get some healing. One thing I've noticed that you don't do too much is
alright, doing some work.
okay, let's stop here just so we can analyze the team composition. So, alright. We're still running the Symmetra. Now, I would have encouraged you to stay Lucio especially for this map if this person's insisting on running a Symmetra.
This is good. This is good. Whatever you're about to do, I like it.
Because the speed boost is really going to help her get set up on the main point. Symmetra's, she's completely useless on this map if you guys don't control that main point. If you control that, she can set up turrets all over the place, and it makes it that much more difficult. If you stayed Lucio, you could have speed boosted her there, got her there quicker. The other team's not running a Lucio, so she would have had a lot of time to get set up. She'd probably have had 2 to 3 turrets set up if she was competent enough to do it. which would have set them back quite a ways, especially with this kind of comp here. They're not running, obviously you got to look out for the Winston, but the thing I'm worried about is there's not a lot of good DPS to take out both Winston and Diva. Roadhog can counter one or the other. Probably I would be encouraging Roadhog should be focusing Winston. Zarya should be focusing Diva. The problem I'm seeing here though is we've got nothing for Pharah. If you're expecting Hanzo to really counter Pharah, you're not going to get a lot of use. You're not utilizing Hanzo the way he should be utilized. He's not a Pharah counter. Not to say he can't kill a Pharah, but it's not what he should be aiming at. And then the same thing with the Tracer. Tracer is not going to be able to kill a Pharah. The Soldier is going to be a good matchup for you, but you're really going to have to look out for the Winston. They're really heavy on healing. So that's going to be a bit of an issue too. So I'm going to be looking for you harassing the healers.
Great. That was really nicely delivered. It was timely. It was succinct. This was good. I like everything you just did. Big thumbs up. All right, let's keep going.
She's
Really, all we gotta do is have the Tracer switch to Soldier, and we're fine.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I've got gold elimination,
Oh, here we go. Hanzo talking about golds.
gold damage, so I'm not switching.
well, we got a soldier now.
My
This match just
ultimate is
switched off.
charging.
So.
Oh, yay!
Okay, so after all of that, the Symmetra switched off finally. So
Tracer's
now,
pretty good. As long as
now
you-
we're running triple DPS, which is okay, especially with them having the
Winston's not
Pharah
here
and not
yet.
having a hit
Winston,
scan.
help, help. Please.
Zimma's dead.
One thing that you could point out is the Mercy's calling for help. Let's see.
Switched off finally.
Tracer's
So
pretty
now,
good. As long as
now
you-
we're running triple DPS, which is okay, especially with them having the
Winston's not
Pharah and not having a hit scan.
Winston, help, help.
So the Mercy's calling for help. This isn't our player's issue, but this is a... Yes, Mercy should be in the back line, so just running to the back of your team should help you spot the Winston, but just give the enemy hero's location when you call for help. And that's not anything our player's doing, but I think Mercy might get killed here. We'll see by the Winston. You have to give a location when you call for help, especially if your DPS are spread out. Because she could be out of position.
Help, please.
Zimma's dead. Now he's almost dead again.
Also, she didn't get killed. The Roadhog did kill the Winston, so
Winston down.
she should thank him for the peels, but whatever.
I've got a dragon. Waiting for the right time and place.
Good kill on the Soldier. Ooh.
Yeah. I'm gonna see what you say about this.
Trying to help you out with that Pharah.
You're kind of sticking around into one spot a little too much. Like, you get a little focused on your shooting, and then you stop moving, and then all of a sudden, Diva boops you from behind and takes you out. Don't be afraid to use your ult with Tracer. That's not one that you want to hold on to too much.
Got it. Got it.
There you go, you used it. Didn't get anybody, though. Also,
Soldier.
focus on getting headshots more. You'll build your ult so much faster with a Tracer if you can get headshots. And she's a low damage DPS if you're not getting headshots. So when you play Tracer, you gotta really be conscious about getting those.
So that's a really good pointer. Really good pointer. You may be about to offer more specificity, but if it ends up that you don't do that, let's see if you do. Okay, looks like no.
The only thing we got's a res.
Yeah. So you want to tell him what he can do about that, especially if this is like a one-time client. If what you're doing is, you know, is just one review for each student. Definitely mention bots, you know, headshot only. Like he may know all that stuff about Ana bots, Lucio bots, even Zen bots, but he may not. He may not know that if he's playing 1v6 versus bots, he should set himself up on God mode, that sort of thing. I would just offer a lot more specific detail other than, you know, go for headshots. Yeah, a little art there. So,
Res is
You guys are running a Zarya too, so if you can combo your ult with the... Oh boy, that's unlucky. If you can combo your ult with a Zarya, that should be a guaranteed 2 to 3 kills, maybe even more, depending on who the Zarya gets in her graviton.
It's all good.
But I didn't see you guys trying to coordinate that, so the next time you play Tracer in the...
what is going on here?
There's a Zarya on your team, make sure you try to coordinate that.
Yeah, but the map just changed to one that Pharah was more dominant on. That's all it was.
Single healer? Oh. Single tank?
I'm not sure why the 76 one, McCree. You really want to encourage them to stay 76 for the self-heal, especially if there's only going to be the one healer. And if that one healer is only... Oh wait, no, we got 2 now. So let's look at this team comp for a second.
Love this. Love this. This is good.
What do we have here? We've got Roadhog and Winston. I'm not sure what you're expecting to counter with the Winston, just because we didn't see much that a Winston would counter from the previous games. So that pick is curious to me. It's not necessarily a bad pick, and Winston definitely is in meta right now. But I just don't... Considering the history of the first 2 rounds, I'm not really sure what we're going to get out of you being on Winston, but you never know. So now we're back to the Mercy Lucio, which is a good healing combination. And this is the only thing I'm a little curious about. I would have encouraged him to stay 76, but maybe he's a better McCree than 76.
The other thing is, since you do have this and this and this, like he's not gonna get any help diving. Maybe he'll be able to take out dive targets by himself, but I feel like this is, I mean, maybe you probably can't ask a gold player to do this at this point, but it's, I feel like for this, to hang out with this guy and this guy, I would go Reinhardt or maybe even Orisa. I mean, it's King of the Hill, so maybe not Orisa, but I feel like Winston's going to be hung out to dry a fair bit in this round.
Silver and what? R's low.
Okay, so right now you're kind of diving into the whole team, and they're not protecting Mercy, so that was actually a really good pick. You got lucky, though, because then once you get into higher games, teams aren't going to let you do that.
That's really good. Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, he did get the kill, so great. He won't be able to get away with that in Diamond.
So don't get in the habit of letting teams just let you pick off their Mercy when you dive right in like that. But it worked out this time, so good job. Just be ready to escape out of those kind of situations when you dive in like that once you get a little bit higher up.
Mercy's low. I'm also low. And get some heals.
bringing Arceus back.
That person should be spamming it in game. I need healing, but not our player's issue.
Okay, good bubble.
She's one hit again.
You're doing wow.
Ooh!
That was a really good job countering the Pharah.
Yeah, that was a well-timed punch. It was a good leap. Like all of that was great. I'd make a big deal of this. I don't know what the enemy, maybe he wasn't trapped. I don't know what the enemy Winston was doing.
So they have a
So yeah, not a whole lot you could do there with only a Lucio healing 2 tanks. It's unfortunate that the Mercy
Ooh, no, I wouldn't jump back in at this point.
went down.
Now be a good time to throw it on point.
This is pretty good positioning. You're kind of staying out of harm's way while still
Oh, he could have ulted right there.
doing damage. However, as I say that, you got into bad positioning. So let's rewind this just
He probably shouldn't have ulted right there.
a little bit. I think I went too far back. All right.
Now be a good
Oops. Okay.
time to throw it on point.
Right here is where you should have stayed. Because let's look at your health. You're under half health. You know that they have a team advantage numbers-wise on you. Plus, on top of that, your McCree's down. So, I know you see Mercy, so you're like a great white shark smelling blood in the water. The problem is
I like the analogy.
there's a whole bunch of enemies underneath that bridge that you can't see right now. Had you have stayed up here, those guys couldn't have really got to you. The Pharah would have eventually, but at that point you would have had your jump and you would have been able to get away. Right now, you're in good position. You dive down. What do we got? We got, I think that's Reaper. No, I think this is Reaper. I'm not sure who this is.
You got a Zen now?
But this is somebody, I don't know, it kind of looks like a Zenyatta or something. I'm not sure who that is, though. And then we got Mercy right here. So you're already 3-1. So bad odds at that point. Although you're about to have your jump. So if you wanted to dive down and then just jump away, fine. But you're not really going to do anything. You should have just stayed up top.
That was good.
So look how quick that Reaper melts you. And you're dead. Yeah, that is a Zenyatta. Okay.
Dove me though.
Alright, so let's look at their team comp compared to what you guys are running. So we got a Zenyatta, which is new for the game. He's a good counter to the Roadhog, and he's actually not a terrible counter to you if he's got good aim. However, he's silver, so I don't know what we can expect from that kind of aim.
This is good. The zooming out 30,000 feet. Talking about comp now. This is good.
The Reaper is a pretty good counter to you. They're not running a Roadhog, which is a benefit to you. Roadhog's a better version of Reaper, especially against a Winston. Reaper's the second best counter to a Winston, in my opinion. But Roadhog, if you guys ever run into a problem with a Winston, Roadhog would be the hero to go. Otherwise, I don't hate your guys' comp. I think it could be a little bit better. The one thing I would encourage at this point would be, I know the Hanzo was saying he's got gold damage, goldy limbs, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, super annoying.
I don't think the Hanzo's the greatest pick here. I would encourage, what would I encourage? A Genji could be good, a Tracer could be okay. Soldier would be probably ideal, though. If the Hanzo's got good aim, it can work, but the problem I'm seeing is... oops, I just paused it. Shoot, I didn't want to do that. Rewind just a little bit. Okay, so the problem I'm seeing here is they've got 2 dive tanks. The 2 dive tanks can both dive on the Hanzo. They can also dive on the McCree. And there's not a lot protecting them from that. Because if they dive on them, they've got the Lucio that kind of keep them afloat. But the Mercy's not going to want to hang around there too much because there's not going to be a lot of protection for her. So what I would encourage is a soldier for his escapability. The McCree's got enough escapability with the healing, I think, with his flashbang. But I'm just not seeing it out of the Hanzo.
I think that's really good. That's all really good. You may, if there's a good switch for our guy to take at this point, you should emphasize that. I'm not. I feel like Winston is the wrong pick for this comp, and maybe for this map. I mean, there's some high ground to contest over on his right when he's in point, but I just don't feel like Winston synergizes all that well with what the rest of the team is doing.
If you get the soldier, he's also got a nice range advantage for both the Pharah and the Reaper. So, okay, Roadhog's down right now, so you guys are already at a big disadvantage. I'm not sure where the Roadhog was, but he got picked. That's causing a stagger, and now you guys have to sit around and wait. The Lucio should be going...
So our player just called for a group up, so I think he's trying to implement what you're talking about.
Back to spawn to escort him back, and I'm not sure if he's doing that or not. Alright, so Roadhog's back.
Like Roadhog, you're Winston's counter man, so you gotta do work on him.
Except Roadhog's dead.
Hanzo's right about that. Okay, so that Winston just threw in my opinion. He should have escaped out of there a lot sooner than he... I don't even know if he tried to escape. So that put the enemy team at a big disadvantage. That was a good choice of when to bubble. Good choice of when to ult because you were almost dead.
I'm throwing a dragon at this point.
I'm not sure if going after the Pharah is the right choice though. But it kept you alive, that's the most important thing. You put down another bubble. Bubble's not really going to do much. It kind of saved you from taking a little damage, but you weren't at low health, so not the best choice of when to bubble, but it's alright.
Also, he did get the pick on the Mercy a second ago. I don't know if I would have gone in quite that early. Feels like this was...
My opinion.
Feels like this was early
He
again.
should have escaped out of there.
But maybe not. Maybe not. This was a nice pick. I think he was early, but he does get the pick.
A lot sooner than he... I don't even know if he tried to escape. So that put the enemy team at a big disadvantage. That was a good choice of when to bubble. Good choice of when to ult because you were almost dead.
I'm throwing a dragon at this point.
I'm not sure if going after the Pharah is the right choice though. But it kept you alive, that's the most important thing. You put down another bubble. Bubble's not really going to do much. It kind of saved you from taking a little damage, but you weren't at low health, so not the best choice of when to bubble, but it's alright.
I'd back up now.
Okay, yeah, stick to the Zenyatta, stick to the healers as much as you can here. Zenyatta, you're a good counter to Zenyatta, and you stayed on him, which is good. Yep, good job with the bubble placement there.
Nice. That's good coaching.
You'd like to see the McCree try to utilize that bubble a little bit more than he did, but you had the right idea.
There was Reaper, Pharah.
You're doing a really good job sticking to the healers. Your target priority is on point.
That's good, especially because I'm not sure. Yeah, his idea of how to do his job as Lucio didn't seem to be quite as strong. I feel like his idea of how to do his job as Winston has been the strongest of the three heroes that he's played so far. And Tracer was sort of in between. I feel like his Lucio positioning and you know ability usage and so forth is probably the weakest of the three. So it may be worth mentioning something about that and you know how his play on the three heroes compares relative to each other.
We gotta kill this Pharah.
The Hanzo's not wrong, but the Hanzo's also part of the problem. You know, taking out Pharah is not a one-person job. You're doing a really good job taking out Pharah. You're doing more than your fair share of the work. Good time to ult. You were about to die, and they were also about to take the point. If you hadn't been ulting, that would have been a good time to put your bubble down to protect your teammates from the D.Va ult, but I don't think you can put your bubble down when you're ulted.
No. Yeah, this team, the team chat has been very interesting.
Should I do anything else than Roadhog?
No, he should stay Roadhog.
I do feel like this guy and this guy and this girl could use a shield, but I feel like Winston is not it. So if Winston is the only anchor tank that he can play, maybe Roadhog goes shield and he goes off tank.
Working?
The Roadhog is not the problem.
Limbs and damage. I think I'm 21 limbs, 10k damage.
I mean, that's good that he's asking and that he's willing to switch, but the Roadhog is not the problem.
It really stops like people's shots.
It's kind of ironic that the Hanzo seems to be one of the more game savvy players on your team, but he's also one of the bigger problems of the team. And now we have a Junkrat, and I don't know why we have a Junkrat.
Yeah, this is pre-buff, so
that's a really bad pick, because I'm almost guaranteeing they're gonna have a Pharah here. If they don't, he can work out. Okay. Let's pause for a second here. So right here, I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to stay back so that you can heal your team. But this isn't the greatest place for you because your team's about to take the high ground, and you should know what it's like trying to shoot people on the high ground. It's more difficult to do. What I would have encouraged you to do is either go up here or go to the left, because there's some high ground over there that you can take. It kind of puts you a little bit more isolated from your team, and if they had a Pharah like I would expect them to, which you might be expecting them to as well, you might be a little nervous about that, but the Mercy should be able to kind of bail you out. The only thing is that nobody can kill a Pharah on this team other than maybe you right now. But your positioning here I don't think is the greatest. It's not the most detrimental either, but you would have caught that a little earlier. And the other thing that I wanted to point out is right around here, you've got your sleep dart. You can't really see it where I stopped it, but I know you have it. Sleeping a Winston is really easy to do. He's one of the easier targets to do, beside like Roadhog. So, there, now we can see it. So you got your sleep. You could have slept him right there. I know you got him purple, which is good, but I would have gone more for the sleep dart because Roadhog's dead. If you sleep him, he'd probably survive that. I say probably because we don't know who else is looking over here shooting through the point, you know, onto him. So it's hard to say for sure, but it gives him a better chance. So keep an eye on that for when you play Ana next time.
good. That all seemed pretty well delivered. Oops.
This is the problem. Problem with people thinking Ana can take out... Oh, they do have a Pharah too, so... not the most detrimental either. Through the point, you know, onto him. So it's hard to say for sure, but it gives him a better chance. So keep an eye on that for when you play Ana next time.
Bears on our side, bears on our side.
Oh, they do have a Pharah too. So right now this team composition gets an F- because they've been running Pharah for most of this game, and we've got no hit scan right now.
Yeah. Yep. Not much else you can say than that right now. This guy's super annoying. Not the hero, the player.
The only
Oh, he switched off to McCree.
The only chance your team had of taking that Pharah out was a Roadhog hook or you sniping her down as an Ana. Neither are ideal, neither are impossible, but neither are ideal. Okay, so Junkrat takes out the Winston.
Something's happening over here. I can't tell what it is.
And somebody switched to McCree. I don't
Ah, there we go.
know who it was.
They're on our side.
There's the same Hanzo.
Our side.
So see, here's the problem with people thinking Ana can take out a Pharah. Yeah, she can, but you saw how long it took her just to aim and get a couple shots off, and then she goes back to tending to the team and everybody's hurt, damaged. Nobody realizes that Ana basically doesn't count as a healer for about 20 seconds while they're all pushing in. Nobody's communicating any of that. You could be on a microphone saying, I'm shooting at Pharah, don't, be cautious, something like that. And maybe that push would have went a little bit better.
There's a couple of nice heal shots.
You're doing what you can, but at the same time, Ana's just not ideal for taking out a Pharah. She's good for helping. But right now, the Pharah is just wrecking you guys.
What is that?
You guys are doing a good job taking care of the Winston. It's just everybody else is the problem.
Pharah's behind.
Oh, you missed your sleep dart. I was about to say that would have been an easy sleep dart, but you missed it. So I think one of the things you should try to do is maybe just go into the training arena with the bots.
He did pick off the Pharah. I would say something about that.
And just practice your sleep dart. You could even make like a custom game, put the cooldown, real low, and just practice sleep darting people, because your aim for the sleep dart doesn't seem very good. Because you just missed another one. So the big thing I think I would focus on with Ana is knowing when to sleep dart and the aim for it. I'll try to point out times where I would be trying to utilize it if I see any.
That's good. That's really good. The idea to point out opportunities for sleep dart, and also what you did with recommending the custom game, that was good. I would have done it earlier when you were talking about going for headshots with Tracer as well, but you're doing it here, and that is great.
Hiding back there, just lobbing in rockets. Just don't even let her get any damage.
Winston on me.
Winston on me. Least helpful call out in the history of mankind.
Down.
There's a good sleep dart.
Yeah! I got bailed out.
That's also a good grenade too. That kind of negates Zenyatta's ult, which is very good.
Yeah, that was a really nice play.
Zenyatta's a pretty powerful ult, so when Ana can negate that, it's a good job.
Get the mercy there. If you get.
I don't know how his how you're feeling about his positioning. I don't play Ana at all, so I don't really know. I feel like he allowed himself to get overextended a minute or two ago, but seems like this might be pretty decent positioning. I don't know if he should be looking to get to high ground. On this map, the high ground can be a little bit cumbersome to get to for a non-vertically mobile character, but I don't know. Might be something to discuss, whether it's good or bad.
I'm not gonna harp on it too much, but I kind of wish you would try to take like a flanking high
There you go.
ground area
There you go.
to kind of stay out of the way a little bit. But not to say that this can't work either.
Call it out, bro.
Okay, here
If we get D
Okay,
out,
well, all right. If had you have listened to me, you would have missed a good opportunity. So, right here is where I would have been looking for it initially. Like if this is just happening to me live as it's occurring, I would have been looking for it on this diva to try to bail out the McCree because he's 2-on-1 right now, and those are really bad odds for a McCree.
You mean sleep dart?
However, had I have done that, let's say I do sleep the diva, the Winston ults right here, and then I would have been like, shoot, this would have been a better time to use it. So I can't harp on you too much for that. However, let's rewind a few frames here. All right, so we're gonna stop it right here. So where it looks like you're aiming it, it looks like you're still kind of aiming for the diva. And I don't know if that actually is true or if you're trying to aim for Winston and you're just not quite on point with it.
This is really good. It's very, very precise. And, you know, it may just be a mechanical issue, but it's really good that you're spending some time talking about this.
The timing for when you try to use your sleep dart, I would say is an A+. However, I don't know what you're aiming at here. I'd like to think you're trying to aim for Winston, but stopping it where I'm stopping it, it looks like you're maybe actually going for diva. I'm not sure which one you're aiming for. Had you have slept the Winston though, that would have been an A+ sleep dart. However, I'm not confident that your teammates wouldn't have woken him up anyway. So
if we get D out of the mech, I can do high noon.
it's just unfortunate you didn't get either one of them with the sleep dart. See, right here you should be telling the Hog to stay out of Winston's bubble so that you can heal him, but luckily okay, that was a decent sleep dart. I say decent because I don't think it really needed to happen. You know, Roadhog wasn't in trouble there, so to sleep him, you know, you're not really doing much. If you saved it here, you could have slept the diva again.
Come on.
Or maybe the Reaper. The
The
Reaper actually would have been a great sleep. Because the Reaper,
I was aiming at the fair, trying to
he's
kill
doing
the
a
bear.
lot of damage to you guys right now.
Blocked me.
Or if you kept it for the Pharaoh, but I would have used it before
I don't
then.
understand.
Was it a problem? I don't know exactly how to think about this. While they're doing this out here,
Sleep dart. However, I'm not confident that see right here you should be telling the Hog
they're stuck outside. He got the Winston, and then they don't get into point, and the enemy team caps.
to stay out of Winston's bubble so that you can heal him, but luckily
Yeah, Zarya gets killed.
okay, that was a decent sleep dart.
Lucio, I don't know where Lucio was because they're already capping.
I say decent because I don't think it really needed
Oh man, no, it shouldn't. Okay, go ahead.
to happen. You know, Roadhog wasn't in trouble there, so to sleep him, you know, you're not really doing much. If you saved it here, you could have slept the diva again.
Come on.
I feel like he was trying to bail out the Roadhog. Probably the wrong play. I feel like he should have been in point, right? I mean, you're a better player than I am, almost assuredly, but I feel like this is the real problem of everything that happened in the last 20 seconds. But perhaps I'm wrong.
Or maybe the Reaper.
That
The Reaper actually would have been a great sleep.
drives me insane.
Because the Reaper,
I was aiming at the fair, trying to
he's
kill
doing
the
a
bear.
lot of damage to you guys right now.
Blocked me.
Or if you kept it for the Pharaoh, but I would have used it before
I don't
then.
understand. Alright, come back in. Hold it.
So nobody's focused on Farah, and that's GG. Yeah, not having the proper hit scans up until way too late really hurts you guys. The Pharah was just, they carried a bit. And then not really countering the Reaper either. Like,
And the Diva blocking
see, this is a
my-
good while we're looking at it, this is actually a really good example. So, Roadhog had double duty in this game, which kind of points to poor team play because he's really the only counter that you guys had. I guess the McCree kind of counters Reaper a little bit, but not a little bit, he does, but I didn't see McCree killing Reaper. I'm trying to get to a certain point here, and I know I'm really close. Come on. Okay. This is good enough, I guess. We saw in this play of the game, Roadhog threw his hook out, but it wasn't at the Reaper. For the Roadhog players out there, if there's a Reaper floating around on the map, you gotta throw your hooks only at Reaper, because you'll completely negate the Reaper if you can hook him every time you see him.
That is great. Very good tip. Broad, easily applicable. This is really nice. Really good tip. Even though our hero didn't play Roadhog, or our player didn't play Roadhog, it's good for him to know that.
As a Reaper player myself, who's got a lot of hours on Reaper, I always try to either A, bait the hook, or B, wait for somebody else to eat the hook, and then I just go crazy on Roadhog, and I'll win 9 times out of 10 against the Roadhog if it's a one-on-one fight. Now, if he's got help and I don't, or something else happens, then who knows what'll happen. But that's a poor hook by the Roadhog. Just on a side note.
And the Diva blocking my ults almost every single
And
time.
nobody's really focused on this Reaper either. Like,
She's dead.
a scatter shot from the Hanzo could have been really nice there too. So, it's hard to recap because there were so many different heroes to recap from. So, first of all, number 1, sleep. Your sleep dart. You gotta pick and choose your targets a little bit better. You gotta work on your aim for the sleep dart, and you gotta know when to use it. A couple times you used it when you didn't need to. A couple times you held it when I would have used it and would have regretted using it. So, you know, it's a bit of a crapshoot with the sleep dart in terms of when you use it, when you don't use it. I get that. It's, you know, in hindsight's 2020. I get that too. But a good example of knowing when to sleep dart is when you slept that Winston when the Roadhog and you were on him. Didn't need to happen there. That one was a waste. So if you can kind of eliminate some of that, I think you're going to find yourself to be a much better Ana player. Your Winston,
So, he might be a fairly new Ana player. Maybe he's not, and this will depend on the student. But if you want to give him some rules of thumb for how to use the sleep dart most effectively, this could be a good time to do that. It sounds like he should have been using it more on Reaper, should have been looking to use it on Diva where possible. Yeah, I like this recap. This concept, what you're doing right now. I might pick a different color and do it over on the side where it's a little easier to read, but that doesn't really matter. But I feel like this piece of it, what you did just now, could have been a little bit more specific. It could have given him some action items to work toward. You recommended something earlier with the bots, and that was nice.
thought was excellent outside of a couple little positioning issues. I think you got a little... I can't think of what the proper word of what I'm trying to say is, but you got a little just honed in on who you were trying to kill, and you kind of lost awareness of what was going on around you, and you kind of put yourself into an overextended position. So just look out for that a little bit. Otherwise, I didn't really see anything too terribly wrong with your Winston.
So yeah, I would, from what I know of Winston, I would agree. It was, with that comp, it seems like he was probably asking to get overextended a lot with Winston, because they had something kind of like this. I think they still had the Hanzo at that point. But the other tank was a Roadhog. I'm pretty sure there was a Lucio. There was a Mercy. They had this one. And then the other DPS was a Junkrat, maybe? I don't remember. I don't remember who the other DPS was, but not a whole lot of other dive heroes that could help him. But yes, I agree with your point overall. He was overextended occasionally. He did do a nice job of taking this one out several times. So
For the most part, your bubble placements were pretty good. Nothing that I really want to harp on too much. So just number 2, I'm just going to say POS for positioning. So just kind of keep an eye on that when you're playing your Winston. For 3 on Tracer, I'm just going to say HS for.
yeah, I would do this in a smaller area or something that you know is going to be dark and in a color that you know will show up. Generally I'm a big fan of Epic Pen and I like visual aids or whatever, but this could be done a little better.
For headshots, work a little bit on aiming a little bit higher up. Same goes for your Lucio, because I remember saying this on your Lucio too. Look for the headshots a little bit more, and I think you're going to find yourself to build ults a lot quicker and just be a little bit more effective on your damage dealing. Otherwise, the only real complaint I had when you were Tracer was it wasn't really countering a whole lot compared to what they were fielding, other than, like healers. But when they're running a Pharah and Pharah is a problem, you really should be looking at going either McCree or 76 or something or a Widow if you're a good sniper, something that can take a Pharah out of the play.
Assuming he can play those heroes. And you may, again, if it's just a one-off student, you may not have any idea.
Tracer's not really going to do that. So that was really my only 2 complaints from you being on Tracer. And then with Lucio, what was I going to say on your Lucio?
Positioning.
You were overextended.
This is a little slow here. Again, love the visual aid. I think if you can find a faster way to do this, maybe in addition to making it a little bit more visible, that might be helpful. Let me say again though, I love the idea of this big recap at the end, just saying overall these are the most important takeaways from this coaching session. That's really good.
You were overextended a little bit at times. Your aim, try to get a little bit more with the headshot so that you can really, for that kind of a map, you should be getting break it down at least twice, and I say at least. Now, if you guys just take the point and hold it the whole time, then maybe you don't get the second one, maybe. But in that round, you should have easily had 2. Probably could have pushed for 3 if you were landing headshots, and you weren't doing that. So work on getting headshots, work on aiming a little higher. The other thing was you got to take the high ground on the map that you did play Lucio. You took him to the wrong side. So be careful of that. And you got to hang around with your team even if they're in danger, because if not, you're really not adding much as a Lucio player to your team. You did great booping people. I'm a little surprised the enemy team let you do it, because you kind of just stayed in the same position the whole time. When you get into higher level games, that's not going to happen. Like, the enemy team won't let you do that. You might get 1 at the position you were, but once you do it once, somebody's going to communicate that and they're going to be watching for it the rest of the game, or they should be. So don't get in the habit of just camping one spot the whole round and thinking you're going to be able to get boops like that like you did in that game.
Good. Well delivered.
But because you're where you're at, you did a good job taking advantage of what the enemy team gave you. Just, again, don't be expecting that later on. But other than that, I think you did pretty good. I don't think your team lost because of you, but there were times where they could have played a little bit better had you have been in either better positioning, or if you used your sleep dart at a different time, or just had a little bit better aim with it.
So I wouldn't say, I don't think your team lost because of you, but I would just focus on here's, here are the things. By the way, during this recap, I would focus on some things he did well. You mentioned the part about the boops, but I would say maybe you could even say one thing that he did well on each hero, especially because I feel like other than on Winston, he was kind of having a hard time getting established in this game. I feel like his Winston round was pretty good, and the other ones were kind of rough. So I would find some, and in that situation, it's important to find something to praise. But yeah, it's. I'd be very careful about saying why the team lost. I feel like it's an area to stay away from.
But really, I think what this game boiled down to was being able to take out Farah, or the lack of being able to consistently do it. You were doing a pretty good job doing it with Winston, so I almost would have encouraged you to stay Winston. The only thing is, it seemed like once you switched off healing, the healing kind of suffered for the team. So it's one of those catch-22 things, and as a support main myself, I feel the pain of that. But I hope you learned something. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.
So overall, yes. Overall, lot to like in this review. There were a lot of moments. I felt like your pacing was a big plus. A lot of times people will spend a long time with the screen paused, and that can be good because it's, they have a lot of points to make and they want to make sure that each one is clear. I feel like what you were communicating was pretty clear despite the fact that the pauses were relatively short for a VOD review. So good job on the pacing. That was really nice. In most cases, I think you were appropriately specific. There were a few times where I think you could have been a little bit more specific or told the player what to do or what to do in order to be prepared to do the thing that he did better, instead of just saying, don't do this. Say, do that instead, or use this to help you practice to get better. You did make the recommendations about bots, and that was really nice. I liked the recap, this bit here at the end, to talk about kind of the whole thing. I liked that you spent some time talking about team comp and where they were going to have some issues, and what they needed in order to counter those issues. Farah and Bastion seem to be the heroes that people have the most trouble with at lower elos, and that was the case here. So I liked that. Yeah. Overall, I think you did a good job of being calm, not being negative. I would amp up the positivity a little bit more on the really nice plays, especially, because VOD reviews are usually going to be a loss. This was no exception. And, giving the player confidence that, that he is a good player and can be a better player and can maybe one day be a great player. Positivity from your coach goes a long way toward that. So that's all we got for today. If you have any questions, you can get at me at I Need Peeling, number 8064 on Discord. I Need Peeling on Reddit. And yeah, good review, The OWCoach.